Governments are in fear and astonishment at who built alien structures on the moon. Astronauts are disclosing what they saw. Their fear is this, that any species that can travel through solar systems and stars and planets and build bases on the moon could definitely take care of us, meaning that they could definitely wipe us out. After the Apollo 11 lunar landing, there are various mysteries that remain unsolved. What exactly did the astronauts encounter there? Another very mysterious thing is why NASA never went back to the moon after Apollo 17. It's all the way back in December of 1972, namely 45 years ago. Images taken by the Apollo astronauts themselves show structured, angular, towered, intelligent architecture that have never before been shown on public television. Also, various whistleblowers are coming out who once used to work for NASA, claiming that they were instructed to scrub out or brush out or block out anything having to do with structures showing intelligent design or perhaps alien structures. These images of what seem to be alien structures and not normal structures on the moon, normal geological structures, were shown to specialists who do not understand what they represent. But if they were built by aliens, these aliens definitely could be a serious threat to humanity. NASA astronaut Buzz Aldrin said that he saw this illumination that was moving with them in respect to the stars. When he reported this mysterious light to Houston, he couldn't say, "Houston, there's a very mysterious light out there following us closely." He just had to report it as an unidentified flying object. When Neil and Buzz Aldrin were on the lunar surface, they switched to the medical channel in order to talk to Houston, and they said, "They're here, they're parked on the other side of the crater, and they're watching us." That's why governments and military are quaking in their boots, asking the questions. Who built these structures? Where are they from? Where are they going? What exactly do they want? And they can definitely, if they travel through space, interstellar, if they wish, very easily take out the human race. In the early 1960s, there was a study done by the Brookings Institute, and they came up with the conclusion that if alien life, alien evidence was found in space flights, space exploration, that it would perhaps be best not to inform the public concerning this because the public would not be able to handle it. Now, reading and translating from a Greek newspaper, truly amazing stories published there concerning the extraterrestrial woman found by Apollo 20 on the moon. The Apollo space program officially ended, as we said, in December of 72 with Apollo 17. That took place from December 7th to 19th of 1972. However, many researchers have the odd claims that NASA continued the space program in secrecy, and the reason was because of the aliens that they found on the moon. And this is the supposed alien woman that NASA found on the moon on an alien spaceship. The official explanation of why NASA Apollo space program was stopped were their budget cuts, which have been suspended and suspended a number of most successful missions of the US Space Agency in history. Fans of conspiracy theories claim that NASA went to the Apollo program with the Apollo missions 18, 19, and 20 which also, of course, made actuated moon landings. And it said that Apollo 18 and 19 missions found evidence of alien life and alien data on the moon's surface. And of course, the mission of Apollo 20 was the mission concerning this Mona Lisa. Apollo 19, which officially does not exist, is said to have been destroyed because of a crash. NASA then sent mission Apollo 20 to the moon, and the mission is said that has been managed to return to the Earth successfully, bringing back alien technology as well as the female humanoid from a crashed alien spacecraft. The 2007 video was posted concerning this case, and it was concerning William Rutledge, who states and declares that he took part in the Apollo 20 mission to the moon. Rutledge claims that there are numerous structures on the dark side of the moon, and they were presented in his video, which shows a female alien that was retrieved from the wreckage of an alien spacecraft. He explains that Apollo 20 was not solely an American mission, but also a joint venture between the US and the Soviets, and that it took place in 1976. And this was done after information the Soviets had obtained concerning the falling and crashing of a giant alien spaceship onto the surface of the moon. These are the images of the alien crashed spaceship supposedly located on the far side of the moon. And this is the Rutledge story. He says that the spacecraft of the Apollo 20 mission, the huge crashed alien spaceship, was over 3 kilometers in length. That is 3,370 meters. And it had crashed or shot down thousands of years ago and was photographed initially by Apollo 15. The results of that mission were shocking. The video, embedded in the link I'll leave for you, is supposedly taken by Apollo 20 and shows footage of the alien vessel. I'm sorry if I'm going slow, but please bear with me because I'm translating this from Greek to English. Going on with this article from the Greek, the Russian cosmonaut Leonov and US astronaut Snyder entered the alien crashed spaceship, and they saw the corpse of a young woman sitting in the cockpit, and also the corpse of her partner. The body of the woman was perfectly preserved due to the lack of atmosphere, and she was brought back to Earth. So together they took them and their evidence, several documents as well, notes in an unknown language. The alien pilot was a beautiful woman who resembled earthly women, but had a difference. The fingers were 6 instead of 5. So they were 6-fingered aliens, not 5-fingered. And they named her Mona Lisa. There is a video embedded, supposedly from the alien spacecraft, and also the dead woman alien, dubbed Mona Lisa. The spacecraft of the crashed alien spacecraft code was Vandenberg Constellation and the Eagle lander Vandenberg Phoenix. The head of the program was the American James Shipman Fletcher, and the Russian was Valentin Alexeyev. Apollo 19 was coded Endymion, and the lunar lander was Artemis. Only 300 people knew about Apollo 20, and the launching was not attended by journalists. The Russians first saw the damaged alien spacecraft in July of 1969 when it crashed near their satellite Lunar 15. Rutledge kept souvenirs, the flag erected on the moon, the suit mark and equipment with the lunar dust. And not afraid of the reaction of NASA, if NASA, because of the video on the internet and clearly shown the interior of Apollo 20 certifying that a mission to the moon took place but never became known, he would have been persecuted. He admits that he hid true facts concerning this. In the official photos hosted in the NASA website, it's shown, there are shown objects similar to the alien spaceship allegedly filmed by Rutledge, and the coordinates: 10th south latitude, longitude 117.5 east is just where the displays and exactly where the spaceship is shown to have been found. On February 23rd of 2007, the famous Italian UFO researcher Franco Cento published the last material about 2 minutes 16 seconds depicting an entire city full of craters on the moon's surface. The images were taken from above, and top of them seemed to be the NASA material from a photography coded Clementine. The investigators submitted digitally processed material to zooming shots, and the result is not very clear. But it shows circles and squares and rectangular structures associated with large pipes. The same video shows Spanish TV, March 2nd, 2007, with a username Nalexo code. At this time, it's not, the commentary has no subtitles, lasts about 4.5 minutes, and the user, which argues that Armstrong himself had made these videos, these images, claims that it's part of a large video length lasting 14 minutes. On April 29th, another user with the handle Quacksman code brings lasting material about images about 2 minutes, and he says that it's from the commander of Apollo 15 with a 35mm lens, a distance of 119 kilometers. From the surface, while rotating around the satellite Earth waiting for a lander with his two companions, it shows 2 polygon buildings in the Tsiolkovsky crater and includes graphical representations of NASA for future bases on the moon, which are very similar to those seen in the images. Milton Cooper knew about the alien moon bases. The Naval Intelligence Officer Milton Cooper was privy to some intriguing information which he shared readily. And according to him, the U.S. Naval Intelligence Community refers to the alien moon base as Luna, L-U-N-A. He also stated that it was known that the aliens had a huge mining operation going on there, and that their massive motherships were kept near the mining sites, while they used smaller craft to visit Earth. He says, the alien base on the far side of the moon, it was seen and filmed by the Apollo astronauts. A base, a mining operation, using very large machines, and the very large alien craft described in sighting reports as motherships exist there as well, he said. Milton Cooper was shot dead by law enforcement officers near his home on November 6, 2001. He spent every waking hour informing the world of the presence of aliens both on our planet as well as on the moon. And according to him, the government had been cooperating with aliens who were far superior to us in terms of technology for decades. Now, the Apollo astronaut Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin's story is this. They upon landing on the moon, reportedly saw a number of UFOs on the surface of the moon, watching them as they disembarked from their craft. And this is part of the radio exchange picked up by unnamed radio hams with their own VHF receiving facilities that bypassed NASA's broadcasting outlets. NASA, what's there? Mission Control calling Apollo 11. Apollo, these babies are huge, sir, enormous. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe it. I'm telling you, There are other spacecraft out here lined up on the far side of the crater edge. They're on the moon watching us. Confirmation. In 1979, Maurice Chatelain, former chief of NASA Communication Systems, came forward and confirmed that the two astronauts had indeed seen UFOs around the rim of the crater and had reported it to Mission Control. Quote, "The encounter was common knowledge in NASA," end quote, he revealed. Quote, "But nobody was talking about it until now," end quote. There's also confirmation of such by Soviet scientists. Dr. Vladimir Azhaza says, "According to our information, the encounter was reported immediately after the landing of the module." Azhaza is the physicist and professor of mathematics at Moscow University. He says, Neil Armstrong relayed the message to Mission Control that two large, mysterious objects were watching them after having landed near the moon module. But his message was never heard by the public because NASA censored it. According to another Soviet scientist, Dr. Alexander Kazantsev, Buzz Aldrin took color movie film of the UFO from inside the module and continued filming them after he and Armstrong went outside. Dr. Azhaza claimed that the UFOs departed minutes after the astronauts came out onto the lunar surface. Maurice Chatelain also stated that NASA censored transmissions with Apollo 11 by interrupting transmissions on several occasions in order to keep the public in the dark about the aliens. A clear connection can be seen between this case and with Cooper, and the high ranking of all these individuals involved does add more food for thought. And then, why did no one return to the moon? Aliens warned the humans to stay off of the moon. A certain professor who wished to remain anonymous was engaged in a discussion with Neil Armstrong during a NASA symposium. Professor, what really happened out there with Apollo 11? Armstrong, it was incredible. Of course, we had always known there was a possibility. The fact is, we were warned off by the aliens. There was never any question then of a space station or a moon city. Professor, how do you mean warned off? Armstrong, I can't go into details except to say that their ships were far superior to ours both in size and technology. Boy, were they big and menacing. No, there is no question of a space station. Professor, but NASA had other missions after Apollo 11. Armstrong, naturally NASA was committed to at that time and couldn't risk panic on Earth, but it really was a quick scoop and back again. Armstrong confirmed that the story was true, but refused to go into further detail beyond admitting that the CIA was behind a cover-up. And there's more. Why is it that NASA bombed the moon? Did NASA bomb an alien moon base? On October 9, 2009, NASA sent two spacecraft bombing into the moon in an apparent attempt to discover if there was water in the moon, discover water in a crater. The mission was surprisingly a failure in terms of water. However, there are many who believe that perhaps water wasn't what they were really after. Were NASA bombing an alien moon base? There is no proof as of yet, but after seeing photographs and reading accounts of several members of the military and NASA, it makes sense. So I'll leave links below for you for this.